Heartwarming, Millionaire's crazy BET revealed a life-changing secret for the hungry old man. In the heart of Maplewood, where rolling hills kissed the horizon, stood Charlie's Corner Store, a haven of hope cloaked in faded paint and nostalgia. At 78, Charlie was a war veteran, whose strong hands had weathered both battlefields and bad economies. His store was more than bricks and mortar. It was a sanctuary for struggling families, a lifeline they clung to as their world grew darker. He knew the names of each child, the worries of each parent. Even with bills piled high and his own stomach often grumbling, Charlie shared with those in need, drawing smiles from the faces around him, earning his place as the heart of a community on the brink. Then one day, news rolled in like a thunderstorm. Jake, a flamboyant millionaire notorious for his outrageous bets, was coming to town, and his presence sent ripples of hope and fear through Maplewood. As he strutted into town, silk suits glistening under the sun, the whispers began. "If you can save Charlie's store in 30 days, I'll donate $1 million to your food banks." He chuckled, a smirk plastered on his face. To some he was a savior. To others a villain feeding off their desperation. Hearts raced and voices clashed. How can we accept charity disguised as a wager? Some shouted. Others pouted, eyes bright with dreams of salvation. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As days slipped by like water through their fingers, the town's facade of division crumbled, revealing a shared desperation to fight for Charlie, to prove that they were more than just a fading memory of prosperity. They rallied together, baking pies, fixing the store, even hosting events. But beneath their brave smiles lurked festering jealousy and unspoken fears. Secrets bubbled up, like when Julie, a single mother, confessed she couldn't even afford bread for her kids. And just when the shadows loomed darkest, a storm pounded down like an angry drum. Rain thrashed against windows, chaos took over, yet it drew families inside, uniting them in the warm glow of Charlie's lights. As thunder crashed outside, Charlie sat down with the local youth, recalling stories woven into his spirit, lessons of honor and perseverance, and how hard times could birth a bravery that lit the way forward. Unbeknownst to Jake, it was this mentorship that had instilled resilience in the community, a connection deeper than any donation. But Jake got to see the spark that shone in their eyes, witnessing their tears and laughter. Did his wager truly stem from charity? Or was it a fanciful showcase of his wealth? An ego trip at the expense of their dignity? As both men grappled with their definitions of wealth, Charlie stood at a crossroads, burdened by a secret from his past that could change everything. The question loomed, could he swallow his pride and accept the help that might save not just his store, but the lives of those he'd come to care so deeply for? The clock ticked loudly, and the weight of choices pressed down on him. Would he risk it all for pride, or would the community find strength to rise, forever transformed? As the rain poured down, Charlie looked out to the faces of Maplewood, and one thought echoed in the chaos. What did it truly mean to be rich? The storm raged on, but inside Charlie's store, a flicker of warmth grew stronger. Neighbors huddled close, sharing stories over hot coffee and warm pastries. The laughter of children filled the air, mingling with the rumble of thunder outside. In those moments, Charlie understood. It wasn't the walls of his store that held the community together. It was the love and connection forged through shared struggles that as he looked around, the eyes of the townsfolk glimmered with something he hadn't seen in a long time. Hope. Julie sat across from him, cradling her toddler. The shadows that usually clouded her face were replaced by a spark of life. "Charlie," she said, her voice trembling, "you've always been there for us. I want to do something for you now." Gratefulness swelled in Charlie's chest. "Just keep sharing that spirit," he replied softly. "We're all in this together." The next day brought a renewed energy. With the storm still lurking overhead, people banded together under Charlie's roof, brainstorming ways to amplify their chances in Jake's wager. Posters were made, ideas shared, and plans carved out to draw attention to the store. They decided on a Maplewood Day celebration, a festival where everyone would showcase their talents. Music, art, food, each would reflect the fabric of their community. The word spread quickly, excitement rippling through the townspeople like a wave. They handed out flyers at the local schools, and every child eagerly took them home to show their parents. Charlie watched this unfold, a sense of pride filling him. He felt something stirring in him that he hadn't felt in years, maybe even since his youth. But uneasiness crept in too. What if the flashy millionaire dismissed their efforts? What if all their hard work fell flat? That nagging voice at the back of his mind warned him that Jake might just walk away, leaving them with nothing but empty dreams. Charlie's thoughts drifted back to his secret, an old hurt festering quietly in his heart. Could he truly open up and share his burdens with the community he loved so much? As preparations for Maplewood Day ramped up, Charlie found himself pulled into a whirlwind of activity. He helped the local kids plant flowers, paint signs, and gather supplies. They painted a giant mural depicting the town's history, a beautiful tribute that drew connections between generations. Each swipe of paint was a stroke of bonding, bringing unfamiliar neighbors together under a common purpose. Then, the unexpected happened. Jake rolled into town a week before the event, mingling with townsfolk, curious about the fervor surrounding Charlie's little store. The millionaire didn't quite match the image they had conjured in their minds. He was handsome, sure, but there was a sincerity in his movements that was hard to ignore. As they engaged, Charlie saw something shift in him, a hint of admiration mixed with an acknowledgement of what it meant to fight for something real. "Charlie, my friend," Jake began, a sly grin forming. "I've learned a thing or two in life. Maybe there's more to this wager than just winning or losing." His face turned serious as the weight of unspoken words hung between them. Charlie felt his heartbeat quicken. What did Jake mean? Could there possibly be more to his motives? Time slowed as anticipation brewed in the room. As they stood, inches apart, both men sensed the pivotal moment fast approaching, one that could change everything for Maplewood. Charlie's heart pounded with the thought, was Jake's wager truly a test of strength for the community? Or would it lead to the destruction of everything they held dear? And with that thought echoing in his mind, Charlie turned toward Jake, ready to confront what loomed just beneath the surface. Would they find common ground? Or was this just the beginning of a deeper rift? The tension filled the air like electricity, waiting to ignite. The future of not just the store, but all of Maplewood, hung in the balance. Charlie took a deep breath, steadying himself. He had fought countless battles in his life, but this felt different. The stakes were higher than just his store. This was about communal pride, hope, and the unspoken bonds that held Maplewood together. "Jake," he said, drawing on all his courage, "are you in this for the town? Or just for the thrill of the game?" Jake's eyes flashed with surprise, his brow furrowing just slightly. "You really think I came all this way just to toy with people's lives?" "I'm not that kind of guy, Charlie," he replied, his tone firm yet laced with a hint of vulnerability. "When I saw how everyone was rallying, I realized there's something valuable here. Something I might have lost along the way." Charlie felt a sense of relief. Maybe there was hope for a connection, a way to bridge their worlds of wealth and hardship. But confusion still lingered. "What do you mean? I've been chasing success my whole life. I've won bets, built businesses, but I've never fought for something that meant more than profit." Jake paused, glancing around the store, as if the memories held answers. "This wager, it could be a way for me to understand what real value looks like. It's a journey, not just a payday." A quiet buzz of chatter filled the store as townsfolk moved about, unaware of the conversation unfolding between the two men. Charlie looked out at the familiar faces, each person holding a piece of his heart. Their hopes, their dreams, it all rested here. "Okay," Charlie said slowly, "if you're sincere, let us make this about more than just a wager. Let us make it a testament to what Maplewood stands for." The words flowed easily now, empowered by the sincerity he sensed in Jake. Jake nodded, a flicker of admiration in his gaze. "What do you have in mind? I want to know what truly matters to you all." Charlie's pulse quickened as an idea took shape. "What if we include everyone? We could turn the wager into something tangible, like a community fund for those struggling the most. Every booth, every pie contest, It all goes toward helping people right here in Maplewood. Jake's expression shifted, the initial surprise giving way to respect. You're really putting your chips on the table, huh? That's a bold move, Charlie. It's not about just winning. It's about lifting each other up, he replied, every word ringing with the truth he felt deep in his gut. We might not have riches, but we have heart. That's what we need to showcase. In the fleeting silence that followed, a warmth spread between them, the promise of a new understanding kindling hope. Jake's grin widened. Count me in. Let us make this a celebration. Maplewood Day will be a display of talent and spirit, and I'll make sure people know it's about so much more. Charlie smiled back, a spark igniting within him. Before them lay the potential for something beautiful, something that could transform lives beyond the reach of a mere wager. As they joined the bustling energy of the store, excitement thrived. Posters displayed the upcoming festivities, and the joy of decorating the community mural swelled with urgency. But an old worry still whispered in Charlie's mind. Would this newfound alliance be strong enough to hold when the spotlight shone hot and bright? The days passed in a flurry of laughter, music, and the unmistakable buzz of community. But just as they seemed to crest a wave of unity, another storm loomed on the horizon, one that demanded answers and truths that could change everything they had built. In the days leading up to Maplewood Day, Charlie received a mysterious package at his store, the contents hidden beneath layers of old newspaper. His heart raced as he tore it open, a gasp escaping his lips. What he discovered inside would challenge everything he thought he knew about himself and about Jake. All of Maplewood was counting on him now. Could he bear the weight of their expectations as well as the burden of his own secrets? As the festival approached, the past and present collided fiercely, leaving Charlie standing at the edge of an uncertain future. Charlie stared at the contents of the package, his heart hammering against his ribcage. Inside was an old photograph, its edges worn and yellowing, but the moment captured was crystal clear. There, laughing under the sun, were his parents, smiling wide as they stood next to the man who had been his childhood hero, Jake's father. They were best friends, a bond of laughter and adventure, long before fortunes would form a chasm between their families. The moment hit Charlie like a freight train. The memories flooded back, warm afternoons spent at the lake, fishing with the two fathers, their camaraderie the binding thread of community. But time had pulled those threads tight, leaving a tangled mess of rivalry and resentment. How had he never known? The connections that had once sewn their lives together were more fragile than he thought. He felt a heavy pit growing in his stomach, one filled with doubt and confusion. Why now? He murmured to himself. Charlie glanced around the store, seeing the familiar faces animated by candid laughter, a high-spirited cheer echoing off the walls. Was he supposed to share this revelation? Should he let Jake know they were tied by blood long before the bargain was struck? Just then, the store's door chimed and Meg, his neighbor, entered with a brisk spring in her step. She waved a poster high overhead. Charlie, have you seen this? The energy in her voice jolted him out of his spiraling thoughts. He tucked the photograph away, trying to suppress the flood of emotions flooding over him. What's going on? Maplewood Day is nearly here. Everyone's buzzing. The pie contest has a record number of entrants, and the artists are kicking it into high gear for the mural. She ushered him toward a bulletin board cluttered with vibrant flyers, each one boasting events that highlighted the community's spirit. Charlie forced a smile, his mind wrestling with the weight of the past and the promise of the future. They had so much already, yet with every passing moment, fear gnawed at him. That's great, Meg. We really need this, you know? Her brows knitted together, and she studied him closely. Charlie, you good? Yeah, just thinking about everything. I want this to work. The festival, the fund, it's for everyone. Meg placed a reassuring hand on his arm. It will, Charlie. You're leading this town. Just remember why you started believing. As she left, he felt the warmth of her words linger, but the photograph felt heavier in his pocket. What would he do if the truth of their families came out? Would it unite them or unravel everything? His thoughts spiraled, emotions tangled as fast as the vines of the old oak tree in front of his store. With the festival just days away, the town relied on his promises, and he wasn't sure if he was strong enough to hold them all together. The stakes had grown beyond mere competition. The truths that lived in the shadows whispered of both reconciliation and destruction. Finally, as the preparations continued in full swing, Charlie caught a glimpse of Jake in the distance. He stood, a beacon of ambition, rallying the townsfolk with his charming charisma. They were entwined in this bet, yet Charlie felt the chains of uncertainty bind him tighter. Would he find a way to reveal the truth without breaking the fragile connections forming between him and Jake? The night fell, and beneath the stars, Charlie saw the silhouette of hope flickering like a candle in the dark. Couldn't he keep this secret forever? It would surface when the lights were brightest, and when it did, would he be ready? As Maplewood Day dawned, he would have to confront the complexities of their past, and its looming shadow over the future they were desperately trying to build. Would the weight of his secrets crush his spirit or set him free? The hour was growing late, and decisions awaited, ones that could shift everything they held dear. Could one choice turn their fates as intertwined as the hands in that photograph? Morning light streamed through the windows, casting a warm glow across Charlie's store. He rubbed the sleep from his eyes, ignoring the mounting anxiety that settled deep in his chest. Today was Maplewood Day, but it felt like the day he'd have to lay his soul bare. He clutched the photograph in his pocket, the edges worn like the memories it held. He took a deep breath, reminding himself of Meg's words. "You're leading this town." But what did that really mean? Was he ready to be the glue holding everyone together when his own life felt so delicately balanced on the edge of chaos? The festivities began early, with cheerful laughter echoing through the streets, blending with the scent of baked goods and fresh paint. People bustled about, setting up tables, hanging colorful banners, and prepping their stalls with homemade goods. A mix of excitement and dread gripped him as he walked among the crowds, greeting familiar faces. "Charlie, you'll want to try my peach pie," Mrs. Thompson called from her stall, her apron dusted in flour. He couldn't help but smile as he saw the pride in her eyes. This was their home, filled with small moments that built a life, a community. He took a slice of pie and savored the sweet warmth, but it felt as empty as the hollow ache in his heart. Charlie's eyes flicked toward Jake, who was chatting animatedly with a group of children behind the booth where they were setting up games. Jake's laughter rang out like music, carefree and bright, a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside Charlie. "What's wrong, buddy?" Tony, one of the organizers, paused beside him, sensing the tension in Charlie's shoulders. "Just a lot on my mind," Charlie admitted, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Hey, that's okay. You're carrying a big weight. Just remember, we believe in you," Tony said, clapping him on the back. "You've got this." But did he really? The truth of his family's past loomed like dark clouds overhead, threatening to rain all over this joyful occasion. He couldn't shake the vision of that photograph, his parents posing with Jake's father, perfectly unaware of the storm that would come, tearing them apart. As Charlie walked through the festival, he spotted Jake glancing around, searching for him. Their eyes met, and Charlie felt a sharp pang in his chest, a mixture of longing and fear. He knew that whatever revelation he had, Jake deserved to hear it. But was he prepared for the fallout? "Hey, Charlie." Jake's voice broke through the noise of the festival, pulling him away from his thoughts. "Come help me with the games. You're the only one who can make my corny jokes sound funny." Charlie chuckled, trying to ease some of the tension. He joined Jake, who was busy setting up a giant inflatable slide for the kids. As they worked together, Charlie felt the ease of their connection, memories of adventures sweeping over him. But each laugh reminded him of the shadow looming over them. Suddenly, a loud shout echoed through the fairground. "Look out!" Kids scattered as the inflatable slide started to tilt dangerously to one side. Charlie's instincts kicked in, and he rushed to stabilize it, Jake by his side. In that moment of chaos, he realized something. The truth, as heavy and frightening as it was, couldn't be ignored. Just as they were a community, they also had roots that intertwined. Would revealing his secret shatter the bond or strengthen it? As the slide wobbled back into position, Charlie felt the rush of adrenaline fade, leaving clarity in its wake. He had to confront the truth before it confronted him in the worst way. With the sun shining down, he turned to Jake, determination fueling his voice. "We need to talk about our families." Jake's smile faded as he began to understand the weight behind Charlie's words. "About what, Charlie?" The air felt electric between them, charging anticipation and fear alike. As the festival buzzed with life just steps away, A quiet storm brewed within them. Could he finally unlock the secrets they shared, before everything they worked for unraveled? Charlie swallowed hard, feeling the weight of Jake's gaze on him. The laughter and chatter of the festival around them faded into a dull murmur, as he braced himself for the conversation. He opened his mouth, but words felt like rocks stuck in his throat. "Charlie, what's going on?" Jake pressed, concern flooding his voice. "You're scaring me a little." "I know Charlie took a deep breath, feeling the heat radiate off the pavement beneath them. "There's something you need to know about our families. Something I should have told you a long time ago." Jake frowned. "Is this about the photograph? Your parents with my dad?" Charlie nodded, the edges of the memory making his heart ache. "Yeah. It's more than just a picture, Jake. It's complicated." Jake's brows knit together as he stepped closer, his expression shifting from confusion to a hint of fear. "What do you mean complicated? Did something happen?" Charlie glanced around, checking to see if anyone was close enough to hear. His heart raced, the familiar jigsaw of worry and dread fitting together inside him. He needed to find the right words, but everything felt suffocating. Before everything fell apart, there were things nobody talked about. Things my parents said. Secrets that might change what you think about my family and yours. The underlying tension intensified as Jake blinked, digesting what was being said. Secrets? Like what? Charlie hesitated, his thoughts swirling. Would this truly destroy their friendship, or could it somehow make it stronger? He wanted to shield Jake from pain, yet the honesty was overdue. "Jake, your dad and mine, they had a falling out. It was serious. I didn't know any of this until I found the picture." His voice cracked as the weight of the revelation poured out. There were accusations, anger, and somehow it felt like they took it into their graves. "I was always told to keep it quiet, but I can't do that anymore." Jake's eyes widened, the look of disbelief washing across his face. "So, all this time you knew? And you didn't say anything?" "It wasn't." Charlie searched for solace in his words. "I didn't know how to tell you. I thought it was just my family's problem, but it's affecting both of us. Isn't it?" Silence fell between them, heavy and uncomfortable. The festival faded further into the background noise of their shared space. "Have you talked to your family about this?" Jake asked, voice steady, containing a mix of hurt and disbelief. "No," Charlie admitted, guilt flooding through him. "But I can't go on pretending like everything is okay. It's suffocating me. Maybe it's me that should be suffocated with this." Jake shot back, frustration bubbling to the surface. "Why would you keep this from me if it was hurting you?" "Because I thought it would protect you," Charlie blurted, desperation creeping into his tone. "And I didn't want to risk losing you. I know how close we are. This could change everything." Jake took a step back, eyes narrowing. The laughter of children playing games drifted around them, but it felt far away. The atmosphere shifted, thick with the unspoken turmoil between old friends now caught in a web of family secrets. "I need time," Jake said finally, his voice quieter but firm. "Time to think about what you've just said." Charlie felt his heart sink. He nodded, understanding the chasm now between them. "I get it. Just know I want to talk whenever you're ready." His words hung in the air like unplayed notes in a song, leaving both of them tense and uncertain. As Jake walked away, Charlie's stomach churned. Was this moment a step toward healing? Or had he just shattered their bond for good? The festival raged on without them, bright and cheery, but Charlie felt like he was fading into the background. The secrets that connected them felt like chains, weighing heavily upon him. What would happen next? Would Jake come back, ready to tackle the truth together? Charlie couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of a much larger storm. Charlie stood at the edge of the festival, the vibrant colors and laughter swirling around him like a dream he no longer belonged to. Each sound felt distant, muffled by the weight of his confession and Jake's retreat. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration bubbling up alongside despair. The revelation had to come out, but he never anticipated this crushing silence between them. He took a few steps towards the game booths, where lights flashed and kids squealed with delight over their prizes. But for Charlie, the joy felt tainted. Taking deep breaths, he leaned against a cold metal railing, trying to steady himself. The smell of fried dough wafted through the air, honey sweet and tempting, yet it turned his stomach. What if Jake didn't come back? Charlie felt a lump in his throat again. Each heartbeat echoed the unknown in his mind. The rhythm of their friendship had always been steady, built on shared secrets and laughter, but now it stumbled on the sharp edges of hurt. He closed his eyes for a moment, wishing he could rewind time to before he opened his mouth. But words had left his lips, and there was no taking them back. Time passed slowly, each minute stretching into an eternity. Just as doubt began gnawing at his resolve, he spotted Jake's figure moving through the crowd. Relief washed over Charlie, but it was quickly followed by anxiety. Would Jake stare at him with anger? Disappointment? Jake approached with his hands shoved deep in his pockets, face dark and unreadable. The colors of the festival flashed behind him like a chaotic backdrop to their turmoil. Charlie's heart raced again, caught between hope and fear. Do you want to talk? Jake finally asked, his voice flat, devoid of the warmth it usually held. Yeah, Charlie replied, his pulse quickening. I'm really sorry for not telling you sooner. I didn't know how I just thought. Thought what? Jake interrupted, frustration simmering under the surface. That you could hide it forever? That it wouldn't affect me? Or us? Charlie winced. I didn't want to hurt you, Jake exhaled sharply, running a hand through his hair. It's hurtful to find out something like this. I thought we were in this together. You should have trusted me. A part of Charlie wanted to agree, to say that trusting Jake had felt so monumental in a maze of secrets. I should have. You're right. I thought you wouldn't be able to handle it. That it would drive a wedge between our families even more. Charlie, Jake said, his voice softening but still firm. We can handle things together. Maybe it's the family secrets that are driving us apart. But instead of opening up, you chose to lock me out. The sadness in Jake's voice felt heavy. Charlie wanted to reach out, to bridge the growing divide, but he could feel the gulf still lingering. I hate this, he whispered. I wish things were different. Me too, Jake agreed, a flicker of shared sadness passing between them. But we have to figure out what this means. What happened between our families, it's huge. I don't want to walk away from you, but I don't know how to move forward. Charlie nodded, feeling the tears prickling at the corners of his eyes. We can start by talking about it. I'll tell you everything I know and we can go from there. Together. Jake looked at him for a moment, a mixture of hope and hesitation shining through. Okay. But can we do it somewhere quieter? I think we both need to process. Charlie felt a spark of relief. As they turned and began to walk away from the festival's chaos, side by side again, he sensed the murmur of possibility in the air. What would they uncover together? Whatever it was, Charlie felt the stirring of hope in his heart. And just as they reached the outskirts of the festival grounds, Jake paused, looking back at the scene they were leaving behind. Charlie, he said slowly, voice laden with uncertainty. What if the truth is worse than we imagine? That question lingered in the air as they stepped off the main path, the shadows of uncertainty trailing behind them. As they moved away from the carnival lights, a strange silence enveloped them. The lively sounds of laughter and joy faded, replaced by an almost suffocating feeling. Charlie felt the weight of Jake's question hanging over them, heavier than any unspoken words. For a moment, he wasn't sure how to respond. What if the truth really was more painful than they'd ever imagined? They walked further down the narrow path, flanked by trees swaying gently in the late afternoon breeze. Charlie could feel the warmth of the sun on his back, but it felt like an unwelcome reminder of the tension between them. He glanced sideways at Jake, who was staring ahead, his expression unreadable. Charlie's heart sank, dreading what could come next. Look, I know I messed up, Charlie started, trying to break the tension. But I need you to understand something. This secret, it's not just about me. It's about our families and the past. Jake stopped suddenly, turning to face Charlie, his hands clenched at his sides. So what are you saying? That we should just let it go? Pretend everything's fine? No, of course not, Charlie replied, desperation creeping into his voice. I'm saying that we need time to think it through. I've spent so long trying to protect you from the pain, but I see now that keeping it in only makes things worse. Every time you held back, it added more distance, Jake said, every word tinged with hurt. All this time I thought we were a team. But secrets ruin everything. Charlie felt a sharp pang of regret. He remembered all the evenings spent together, every shared dream, every moment that solidified their bond. Had it been built on a shaky foundation? I never wanted to hurt you, Jake. I thought that you could handle it alone? Jake's voice was rising now. Look where that got us. We're standing here, on the brink of losing everything. The frustration in Jake's tone made Charlie's heart ache, but just as he was about to respond, Jake's expression shifted. There was a flicker of something else: despair, fear? Charlie didn't he know? It was as if Jake realized the enormity of what lay ahead. And in that moment, they shared something deeper than conflict. Maybe we should just talk about it, Jake said softly, his voice cracking. If we have to face it, we might as well do it now. Charlie nodded, relief flooding through him. Talking was a start. He took a deep breath and let the moment settle like a bomb on his heart. Okay. Let us sit. There's a bench over there. They found a weathered wooden bench near the edge of the festival grounds, shaded by large oak trees. Charlie sat down and Jake followed, placing a small distance between them. I was scared of what you would think, Charlie admitted, his heart racing at the vulnerability he felt. But maybe I've been hiding longer than I realized. Jake met his gaze, the intensity in his eyes sending a shiver through Charlie. You weren't just hiding from me, were you? You were hiding from yourself, too. Charlie's breath hitched. I guess so. For the first time, he felt the truth of Jake's words sink in. It was more than just family secrets. It was about the fear of losing the person who represented safety and trust. The thought was suffocating. Charlie reached for Jake's hand, requiring that small connection. What if we found out we were right to be afraid? What if the truth tears us apart? Jake's voice trembled as he laid bare his uncertainty. Charlie squeezed Jake's hand tightly, shaking the fear off. Then we'll face it together. Just like everyone else, we have to navigate the darkness to get to the light. But we can't do it like this, not with secrets between us. Jake's grip tightened in response. Okay. Let us start unraveling it. But promise me no more hiding. Whatever the truth is, it's time to face it. As they sat there, hands clasped tightly, Charlie felt a rush of determination. The path ahead was unclear and possibly painful, but together, they could illuminate the darkness. Whatever the truth held, Charlie hoped they could emerge unscathed. They were ready to dive into the storm, but would confronting the past finally give them peace? Or would it break them apart forever? The weight of the unknown loomed heavy as the shadows stretched long around them. Sitting on the bench, an uneasy quiet enveloped Charlie and Jake, thick like the branches overhead. The carnival sounds felt like a distant world, and their hearts were heavy with the weight of unsaid things. Charlie glanced at Jake, remembering laughter painted on his face just hours ago, now replaced by a stormy frown. What if Charlie's voice trembled, uncertain of where to lead the conversation? What if we start from the beginning? About our families and what they hid from us? Jake shifted, breaking eye contact, and stared into the distance. That sounds difficult. But maybe it's necessary. Yeah, Charlie agreed, feeling the urge to unburden himself. When I first discovered the secret, it felt like a bomb was dropped in my life. I thought I'd found some twisted truth about my dad, about everything. But I didn't know how to share it with you, and I thought maybe I could just forget it. Forget? Jake turned back to Charlie, his eyes widening. You thought burying it would help? How? His voice was a mix of anger and hurt, raw emotions spilling out like an open wound. It just grew, didn't it? Like a shadow that never leaves. It's always been there. Charlie's heart sank at the truth in Jake's words. I thought I could protect you from the pain. Protect me? Jake echoed, disbelief coloring his tone. Or protect yourself. Because it feels like you were doing this for you. Not for us. With those words, the dam of Charlie's fear started to break. Maybe you're right. He took a deep breath, finally letting the grief spill out. But I thought I was saving us from a bigger storm. Jake's expression softened, a flicker of understanding breaking through the hurt. Tell me then, what happens when storms finally break? Do we get to rebuild, or do we drown in the destruction? Tears pricked Charlie's eyes as he forced himself to meet Jake's gaze. I want to believe we rebuild. I want to trust that the bond we have isn't just shattered remnants, but a foundation we can strengthen. But it's gonna take both of us, Charlie. Truth is the catalyst and it might sting. So can we really go there? Jake's voice cracked, vulnerability laid bare. Charlie swallowed hard. I guess it starts with admitting our family's imperfect truths. Especially mine. My dad, wasn't he the man I thought he was? As Jake leaned in, curiosity honed his expression. Charlie stammered. He hid things. Dangerous things. And I suspect your family was involved too. It's why I thought. Why you thought what? Jake pressed, an edge to his voice. That perhaps we were never meant to be together. That we were unwitting pawns in a game the air drew taut between them. Every unspoken word clamored for release. Charlie's fingers brushed against the weathered wood of the bench as he let go of the past's grip, his heart pounding with each syllable. What if I said we're not just players in their game, Jake? What if we could rewrite the rules ourselves? The challenge was there, hanging in the air like the scent of rain before a storm. Jake held Charlie's gaze, nodding slowly. I want that. I want us to be the authors of our own lives. So we face this together, Charlie said, relief washing over him. No more secrets. But just as hope began to bloom, a sudden commotion broke the moment. A figure stumbled through the festival grounds, eyes wild as they caught sight of the pair seated beneath the oak trees. Charlie's heart dropped as he recognized the familiar face. The truth was coming, perhaps faster than they were ready for, and now, it was barreling down on them. Would they be able to handle the impact? Or would it crush them under its weight? The figure charged through the crowd, knocking over stands and scattering festival-goers. It was Joey, the local journalist with a reputation for digging into the untold stories within Maplewood. His eyes were wide, breaths ragged as he finally reached Charlie and Jake. Charlie, you need to see this, he gasped, extending a newspaper in shaking hands. With a foreboding feeling, Charlie took the paper and glanced at it. The headline screamed, Family Secrets Exposed, a Legacy of Deceit. Heart pounding, he scanned through the contents, a detailed article revealing the dark connection between their two families, accusations of dishonesty, betrayals that had festered for generations. The world around him erupted into chaos as the whispers of astonishment rippled through the crowd. Folks peeking at the bold words with widening eyes. What's going on? Jake demanded, anger bubbling beneath his shock. Who leaked this? I don't know, Joey exclaimed, his face pale. But it's all over town. We need to contain this. People are talking. This could ruin everything we've built today. Charlie felt the weight of the moment close in around him like a shroud. This was the storm he had feared. The very truth he had tried to shield from Jake was now swinging open like a door left ajar, ready to pull them both into the abyss. Maybe we should just leave, Jake whispered wildly, half his body jerking backward as if retreating from the reality of it all. Maybe this is it, Charlie. Maybe it's over. No, Charlie proclaimed, heart-thudding. We can't let them win. Not after everything we've done. This is our chance to face it all together. Jake looked torn, uncertainty dancing across his features. But how do we confront something this big? What if it drags us under? With a surge of determination, Charlie locked eyes with Jake. It's time for the truth, just like we said. This is our moment. We confront this together. Jake's frown deepened, but he nodded slowly, the spark of resolve igniting in his chest. Okay, but we need to talk to the community. We can't let this article dictate who we are. They stood together, hands clasped tight. Charlie felt the energy around them shift, the heaviness of secrets starting to lift. They had been given an unexpected chance to reclaim their narrative. It fueled his heart with renewed vigor as they walked toward the center of the festival. A crowd was building, drawn in by Joey's waves of urgency. The atmosphere crackled with anticipation. Charlie climbed onto the edge of the platform they had set up for the day's entertainment, drawing the attention of the townsfolk. Everyone, he called, his voice echoing through the air. We cannot let fear divide us. Yes, we've been uprooted by truths and hidden stories, but we face our history with courage and partnership. The crowd murmured, and he could see skepticism in some eyes, but also nervous excitement in others. He pressed on, recalling the warmth of laughter shared just hours ago. Jake and I have something we want to tell you all. Something important that connects us as families. We can either let this legacy dictate our future, or we can redefine it. Jake stepped up beside him. This isn't an ending, it's a new beginning. It's time to share not only our challenges but our triumphs. Time to lift each other up like we always have. Every pair of eyes locked onto them. And Charlie felt a spark ignite. Let us turn this pain into purpose. Let us rise from the ashes of our family's past and shape a community that stands stronger together. Cheers erupted from the crowd. Words of support cascading through the air like a wave. For every shadow that the past cast over Maplewood, there was a glimmer of light pushing through. Charlie could feel the love flowing back into their hearts, binding them all once more. In this moment, Jake looked at him, eyes filled with gratitude and admiration. The fear was still there, lurking at the edges, but it was no longer suffocating them. They were ready to embrace their truth. As the festival buzzed back to life, the barriers began to dissolve. A new chapter was being written, a testament to resilience and solidarity. Amid the faded paint and fragrant pastries of Charlie's store, hope weaved through the community, stronger than any storm threatening to tear them apart. Together they forged ahead, bravely standing at the intersection of their past and future, an unwavering family bound by love, secrets, and an indomitable spirit. Now is the time to take action. You need to subscribe to this channel immediately to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire and transform. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and show your support for the endless tales we're telling. Comment down below your reactions and feelings about this heartfelt ending. We want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this extraordinary transformation. Your support matters more than you can imagine.